longest mountain range in the world. The largest empire in the history of pre-Columbian America. A place where living beings must constantly evolve in search of survival. The Andes. This is the realm of thousands of unique plant and animal species, perfectly adapted to an unforgiving climate. Before venturing into the Andes, let us know where you're from in the comments below. It's a pleasure to connect with you, and now, welcome to Inca Rising, Shadows Beneath the Andes. The wind lashes across the Puna Plateau, where the ground cracks from the cold and sand and stones swirl in gusts. At altitudes above 4,000 meters, the vicuña glides by in silence, its eyes wide open in the hush that feels almost frozen in time. The shadow of a puma slips past like a ripple in time, silent, without warning. Above, the Andean Condor circles endlessly, wings stretching over 3.3 meters, tracking every subtle sign of decay below. Sliding through the dry, rocky slopes of the southern Andes, the Andean fox blends into the brown of low shrubs, its gaze sharp as a blade. The spectacled bear, the most solitary bear on the planet, follows a damp, cold trail, the scent of rotting fruit and old claw marks lingering on a decaying tree. The Andes allows no room for error. Each region is a biological battlefield, where life does not call out. It weaves through silence, guided only by the instinct to endure. Along the western coast of South America, a colossal wall of stone rises beneath the blue sky. This is the Andes, the longest mountain range on Earth. Stretching over 8,900 kilometers across 7 countries, from Venezuela all the way to Argentina, the Andes is more than just a natural boundary. It is where the land meets the sky, the spine of the continent, a witness to millions of years of the planet's shifting crust. Beneath that bedrock lies the lasting imprint of a collision between 2 tectonic plates. The Nazca Plate from the Pacific Ocean is steadily being pushed beneath the South American plate. Bit by bit, the pressure from this movement forces the rock upward, forming a chain of towering peaks. In some areas, the range stretches as wide as 330 kilometers, with an average elevation reaching around 4,000 meters. These deep geological processes continue to this day, occasionally shaking the ground with earthquakes or reawakening volcanoes that have lain quiet for centuries. The Andes landscape is like a living painting, shifting with every meter of elevation. Starting from the lowland tropical forests, known as the Ceja de Montaña, or mountain eyebrow, the forest gradually transforms into misty cloud forest. Climbing higher leads to the cold Páramo grasslands, where tough grasses, low shrubs, and remarkable water-storing plants thrive. Reaching up to 4,500 meters, the polylepis tree still holds its ground, with twisted trunks and paper-like bark, a living testament to survival where oxygen runs thin. The climate along the Andes is a complex symphony of ocean winds, altitude, and terrain. To the west, where the mountains meet the Pacific Ocean, the air is often dry. This is the region known as the Dry Andes, shaped by rain shadow effects and the cold Humboldt Current. In contrast, the eastern slopes receive moist winds from the Amazon Basin and the Caribbean Sea, creating a lush, wet mountain zone where cloud forests and montane rainforests flourish. In the region near the equator, known as the tropical Andes, the climate is humid and biodiversity reaches its peak. This area is home to around 45,000 plant species, over 20,000 of which are endemic, meaning they exist only here and nowhere else on the planet. Nearly 3,000 species of vertebrates are scattered throughout the valleys and mountain peaks, with about 1,500 of them found exclusively in this region. The Andes shelters nearly 600 species of mammals, with 13% being endemic. Around 1,000 species of amphibians have been recorded, and 2/3 of them are unique to the Andes. About 400 species of fish are known here, 30% of which live nowhere else. There are more than 600 species of reptiles, with nearly half being exclusive to this mountain range. On the high plateaus above 3,800 meters in the Andes, the Inca Empire rose and flourished amid harsh climates and thin air. In their belief system, the highest mountain peaks were revered as Apu, mountain deities guarding the spirit of the land and sky. To survive in the lands below, the Inca and indigenous communities such as the Quechua and Aymara underwent a process of biological adaptation that spanned thousands of years. Modern medical and anthropological studies reveal that their lung capacity is 20 to 25% greater than that of people living at lower elevations, with a dense network of capillaries that enhances oxygen absorption. Their hearts have also adapted for endurance, with enlarged and more forceful left ventricles that ensure efficient blood circulation in low oxygen conditions. Resting heart rates tend to be lower than average, reflecting a stable metabolism even while functioning in low-pressure environments. Hemoglobin levels in the blood remain high, on average between 18 to 21 grams per deciliter, boosting the body's ability to transport oxygen. And the place the ancient Inca chose to develop this extraordinary culture and evolutionary resilience is the Puna Plateau and the Altiplano. Nestled between two branches of the Andes, the Altiplano-Puna Plateau sits at an elevation of 3,700 meters, stretching from southern Peru through Bolivia to northern Chile and northwestern Argentina. Though not a fertile land, this region became the foundation of the largest indigenous civilization in South America. The climate here is harsh and unpredictable. Daytime temperatures can be mild, reaching up to 15 degrees Celsius, but after sunset, they quickly plunge to -5 degrees Celsius or lower. The landscape of the Altiplano Puna is mostly open grasslands, dotted with small wetlands in lower areas where meltwater from the surrounding mountains gathers to form temporary ecosystems. In more humid areas, the presence of high-altitude grasslands and marshes creates small wetlands that retain water and maintain moisture throughout the year. Beneath these low-lying plants lies a layer of peat that has formed over thousands of years, with an average thickness of around 4.7 meters. It was on this land that the Inca developed techniques to use native vegetation for livestock, domesticate animals adapted to high elevations, and learn to harness water sources from melting snow and ice. Familiar to indigenous peoples across South America, the guanaco is the wild ancestor of the llama, domesticated since the time of the Inca. With a slender build, standing about 107 to 122 centimeters tall and weighing around 90 kilograms, deep black eyes, and long lashes that shield against wind and dust, the guanaco emerges as a symbol of grace amid the grey, rugged landscape. Its coat is made up of two layers, a soft underlayer for warmth close to the skin, and a coarse outer layer that shields against the biting cold winds. Their colors range from light brown to cinnamon with white bellies, blending seamlessly with the muted grays and browns of the Puna grasslands and salt-covered slopes. The Altiplano does not offer life an easy path, yet the guanaco's body has adapted to the harsh rhythm of this land. Like the ancient Inca, their blood holds an unusually high concentration of red blood cells, rich in hemoglobin with a strong affinity for oxygen. This allows them to absorb oxygen efficiently, even in an atmosphere where oxygen levels hover around just 60% of what they are at sea level. Thick footpads and two nimble toes help them cross slippery gravel, cracked salt flats, and steep mountain slopes like seasoned athletes, reaching speeds of up to 56 kilometers per hour. Guanacos live in herds. One dominant male leads a group of females and their young. Younger males without territories form bachelor groups, moving along their own paths, like warriors waiting for their time. Their communication is rich and varied, from sharp warning calls and forceful backward kicks to the curious act of spitting, a behavior that carries powerful messages about dominance and social boundaries. Across the Altiplano Puna region, the guanaco's journey of survival follows migration routes guided by the cycles of water and grass. During the dry season, they descend to lower areas where patches of marshland still collect meltwater. When the rains return and the highlands flood and become difficult to traverse, they move upward again to avoid the rising waters and the renewed activity of predators. On the Puna Altiplano plateau, the top resident predator is the Culpeo, also known as the Andean fox. But it is not a true fox. The Culpeo belongs to the genus Lycalopex, making it more closely related to wolves and jackals than to its northern red fox cousins. An adult male can weigh up to 11.4 kilograms, making it the second largest member of the Canidae family in South America, after the maned wolf. The Culpeo ranges throughout the Andes, from the temperate rainforests of southern Chile to the dry deserts and icy highlands of the north. Its survival in these extreme environments has become a symbol of adaptation. In the Altiplano Puna region, where daily temperature swings can reach 25 degrees Celsius and oxygen levels hover around just 60% of sea level, Culpeos are able to regulate body heat, remain agile, and continue hunting effectively. Ecological studies published by the Patagonia Institute of Ecology show that individuals living between 4,000 and 4,800 meters tend to be more compact, conserving energy and adapting their reproductive cycles to the harsh highland climate. The Culpeo's diet is classified as highly flexible. It is an opportunistic predator, meaning it adjusts its diet with the seasons and available resources. About 60% of its food intake comes from highland rodents. When those are scarce during the dry season, it shifts to eating small birds, lizards, eggs, and sometimes berries or carrion, including guanaco or camelid, remains left behind after seasonal hunts. There have been rare cases where culpeos prey on lambs, an uncommon behavior but one that has caused conflict with humans in certain grazing areas, particularly along the Argentina-Chile border, leading to persecution in those zones. The culpeo's hunting strategy is a blend of stealth, patience, and bursts of speed. Rather than overpowering prey, it relies on its sharp hearing to detect faint sounds of movement beneath the grass. On rugged terrain and among low vegetation, it moves almost silently. When it strikes, it launches with a quick, decisive leap, delivering a bite to the neck or head to swiftly subdue small prey. The culpeo's evolutionary history includes an unexpected chapter: domestication. The Yagan people of Tierra del Fuego once domesticated this animal, creating the Fuegian dog, a dog breed genetically unrelated to modern domestic dogs, which trace their lineage to the grey wolf. The Fuegian dog is a rare example of independent animal domestication in South America, though the breed became extinct in the 20th century due to cultural and lifestyle changes among indigenous communities. Today, the Culpeo continues to play a vital role in the highland food chain. It helps regulate rodent populations, an essential check to prevent ecological imbalance. Unlike the cold, harsh Puna Altiplano of southern Peru, the eastern and central slopes of the Andes stretching into northern Peru are home to a region often described as the sponge of the Andes. This is the wet Páramo, a moist highland plateau found at elevations between 3,000 and 4,500 meters, primarily in Colombia, Ecuador, and northern Peru. Average temperatures range from just 2 to 10 degrees Celsius, with annual rainfall between 1,000 and 2,000 millimeters, spread fairly evenly throughout the year. The soil here is often waterlogged, rich in organic material, and has a remarkable ability to retain moisture thanks to the root systems of native plants. The thick layer of vegetation and organic soil absorbs water from rain, fog, and underground springs, slowly releasing it over time. However, the steep terrain, cold climate, and saturated ground make long-term settlement in this region nearly impossible. The INCA were forced to learn how to collect water from soil, mist, and rain, stay warm in a harsh climate, and sustain food supplies in poor, chilly soil. From this cold, damp highland, they expanded their irrigation systems and influence into the valleys below, turning a difficult landscape into a strategic stronghold for their empire. This feline goes by many names: cougar, puma, mountain lion, or the haunting ghost cat. With a supple frame, a smooth, tawny coat, and eyes always alert in the shadows, this cat leaves behind nothing but bent grass and the sudden absence of an unlucky prey. Cougars are among the rare predators that have managed to conquer nearly every terrain across the Americas. Their evolutionary journey began over 6 million years ago, originating in North America before spreading southward during the Great American Biotic Interchange. Today, according to the 2024 update from the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, Red List, the cougar still holds the title of the most widely distributed terrestrial mammal in the Western Hemisphere, ranging from the icy Yukon of Canada to the frigid forests of Patagonia. Biologically, the cougar does not belong to the group of big cats, so it cannot roar like a lion or tiger. Its rigid larynx gives it a vocal range more like small cats, including hisses, growls, and piercing screams, sounds once described as resembling a woman's shriek in the night. In the thick mountain fog of the Andes Highlands, a cougar lies motionless on a rocky ledge. Its eyes track a moving shape below, a slow-stepping target at the base of the slope. Thanks to its bronze coat, the cougar nearly vanishes into the rocky grassland background. It moves with silent precision across the steep, narrow terrain, each step deliberate. Its long tail acts as a stabilizer along jagged ridgelines. Once close enough, it crouches low, channeling power into its hind legs, a body built to leap up to 12 meters without a running start. The pounce happens in an instant. The cougar launches straight toward its prey, landing with pinpoint accuracy guided by its tail. Sharp claws dig into the prey's back. The bite is swift and targeted at the neck. In seconds, the hunt is over before the prey has time to react. The cougar drags the carcass into a nearby thicket. It covers it with dry grass to hide it, planning to return over the coming days to feed in solitude, a cold, efficient predator. But to the ancient Inca, the puma was more than a hunter. It was a sacred symbol of the human world, known as Uku Pacha, the middle layer of the three-tiered universe in their spiritual belief system. Now, let's climb higher, closer to the realm of the gods. Rising above the limits of human habitation, Janca, the snowbound zone of the Andes, spans elevations from 4,800 to nearly 6,900 meters. This is where South America's tallest peaks rise, stretching along the entire spine of the Andes from north to south. The climate here is brutally unforgiving. Temperatures remain below 0 degrees Celsius year-round, winds are fierce, precipitation is minimal and mostly in the form of snow. With intense solar radiation and thin air, this realm sits beyond the threshold of life. Though it hosts no permanent life, Janca plays a vital ecological role. Glacial ice accumulates snow during the cold season and slowly melts during the dry season, supplying water to lower elevations. From 2000 to 2019, meltwater flow in the Andes averaged 583.5 cubic meters per second. In the Inca worldview, Janca was the sacred domain of the Apu, guardian mountain spirits, worshipped as symbols of strength and life. Though no one lived at these heights, the Inca journeyed here to perform ceremonial offerings and to reinforce spiritual authority. Meltwater from the glaciers was considered a gift from the Apu, channeled to nourish terraced fields, valleys, and irrigation systems throughout the Andes. Higher than the cold, arid plains where the guanaco endures, at elevations around 4,800 meters in the snowy peaks of the Andes, another creature quietly braves the punishing climate and breathless altitude. The vicuña is not large. It has no claws, no extraordinary speed, yet it carries something the entire world covets: its coat. Each fiber of its wool measures just 12 microns in diameter, finer than cashmere, which is already famed for its softness. A delicate layer of tiny scales coats the surface of each strand, locking out the cold air and forming a naturally perfect thermal barrier. Thanks to this, even when nighttime temperatures in the Janca zone fall below -20 degrees Celsius, the vicuña's small body retains the warmth it needs to survive. That very coat once pushed them to the edge of extinction. By the 1970s, only about 6,000 vicuñas remained in the Andes after decades of relentless hunting for their prized fiber. But a joint effort between the government of Peru, conservation organizations, and local communities sparked a recovery. People no longer hunted them for their wool, but revived an ancient ritual known as chaku. Every 2 to 3 years, wild vicuñas are gently herded into safe enclosures. Their wool is sheared with care. and then they are released back into the wild. No wounds, no chains. In Inca culture, the vicuña symbolized purity and sacredness. Killing them was strictly forbidden. Their wool was reserved solely for the garments of royalty and nobility. Today, the vicuña appears proudly on the coat of arms of Peru, a symbol of biological richness and sustainable heritage. Living at elevations between 3,200 and 4,800 meters, where oxygen levels are barely half of those at sea level, vicuñas possess blood with an unusually high concentration of red blood cells, enabling highly efficient oxygen transport. It's a nearly perfect adaptation to thin, frigid air, strikingly similar to highland-adapted humans. Additionally, their front teeth grow continuously throughout their lives. In an environment where food consists mostly of tough, silica-rich grasses with minimal nutrition, those teeth must stay ever ready to resist constant wear. But life in the cold heights has never been easy. An old vicuña collapses among snow and wind. No cry, no sign of a predator, only time, quietly freezing its final breath. On the towering rocky slope, passing does not come violently. It is silent, like an offering. To the ancient Inca, snow-covered peaks were more than stone and ice. They were the closest place to the gods, where sacred rituals were carried out in hopes of summoning water to return to the fields below. And now, from the edge of the horizon, the Andean Condor appears. It circles slowly, like a ritual from another time. The Andean Condor is more than a symbol, it is a marvel of adaptation. Weighing up to 15 kilograms and with a wingspan reaching 3.3 meters, it ranks among the largest flying birds in the world. In flight, it appears as a massive black shadow sweeping across the snowy sky like a silent eagle. What makes this bird extraordinary is that, despite its size, it flaps its wings for only about 1% of its flight time. For the vast majority of its journey, it glides effortlessly, perfectly riding thermal currents and mountain winds to stay aloft. One study recorded a single Andean condor flying continuously for over 5 hours, covering 172 kilometers, without flapping its wings once. In the perilous frigid air of the Janca zone, that ability is a key to survival. On sheer cliff faces rising above 5,000 meters, far beyond where humans can go, Andean condors nest. They reproduce slowly, laying just one egg every 2 years, and incubation takes nearly 2 months. Once hatched, the chick relies on its parents for close to 2 years, undergoing careful training to survive in the treacherous skies above the valleys. It's a slow life cycle, but a necessary one, as Andean condors can live up to 70 years, with some in captivity reaching 79. This long life, paired with a low reproductive rate, makes every individual irreplaceably valuable. Today, fewer than 6,700 mature Andean condors remain worldwide. In Ecuador, the population has dwindled to fewer than 150 individuals. In Colombia, estimates range from 175 to 269. These are the latest figures as of 2024, reported by conservation groups across the Andes. Shrinking habitats, dwindling food sources, poisoning, and reckless hunting have caused the condor to disappear silently from many skies. Across the misty Andean heavens, a dark shape with a wingspan over 3 meters glides through the cold air like a blade. Its mastery of wind currents allows it to remain perfectly balanced with minimal effort. Its sharp eyes follow the faint, uneven breath of a lone animal below. Down below, a lone animal stumbles across the drifted snow. Its back arched, legs buckling, breath rasping. It has run out of strength. The Andean Condor locks on immediately, widening its circle while slowly lowering its altitude in quiet anticipation. Then, the animal collapses in silence. No cry, no movement. In that instant, the condor folds its wings and dives with precise speed. It lands beside the fallen body, its bald head plunging deep into the belly. Everything is done with practiced ease, as if it's performed this ritual 1,000 times. The oil glands in its feathers protect it from getting wet, even while standing amid melting snow. And the bare skin on its head keeps it clean while feeding deep inside decaying flesh. A massive scavenger with a rugged exterior. Yet to the indigenous cultures of the Andes, the Andean Condor is anything but ordinary. To them, it is an eternal emblem of freedom and spirit. In Inca mythology, the condor is a divine messenger, the carrier of souls to Hanan Pacha, the sacred world above. The snowy peaks of Janca, where the sun seems closer than anywhere else, were believed to be the home of the Apu, the mountain gods. And when the condor soars across that cold sky, people believe it carries their prayers to Inti, the sun god, the supreme source of life. This belief echoes the faith in Christianity, that a soul after death ascends to the heavens, closer to God, in a sacred and transcendent journey. The snowbound mountains of Janca test the limits of life. From 2000 to 2019, glaciers across the Andes melted at an average rate of 583.5 cubic meters per second, forming streams that flow into the valleys below. For the Andean Condor, these waters signal the presence of life and are often where death is first found. But to the Inca, those waters were a gift from the Apu, a divine offering that nourished the rich landscapes below. Ceja de Selva, or the Andean cloud forest, stretches along the eastern slopes of the Andes from Venezuela to northwestern Argentina, at elevations between 1,500 and 3,000 meters. This is a transitional zone between tropical rainforest and highland plateau, marked by year-round humidity, rainfall ranging from 1,500 to 2,500 millimeters, and temperatures fluctuating between 10 and 20 degrees Celsius. The cloud forest is dense with vegetation, excellent at retaining moisture, and plays a vital role in regulating water flow to the lower regions. It also serves as a crucial biological corridor, home to numerous endemic species and maintaining ecological connections between mountain habitats and the Amazon. To the Inca, Ceja de Selva marked the soft boundary of their empire. They took advantage of the fertile soils, expanded agriculture using camelones, and linked the highlands with eastern cultures. The cloud forest was both a strategic region and a sacred space, where people, resources, and the forces of nature came together in connection. In the spiritual world of the Inca, Uku Pacha was the deep realm beneath the earth, a place where death begins, dreams unfold, and rebirth takes root. This underworld wasn't just where souls returned. It was also home to silent beings, hidden in the shadows and dampness. Among the decaying leaves and wet, cold soil of the Ceja de Selva cloud forest, one such creature lies motionless. This is the fer de lance. Its dark, triangular scales blend into the moist earth, fallen leaves, and dim light. No one sees it until it's too late. Despite its resilience and broad range, the fer de lance is not immune to human impact. Data from medical centers in Loreto, Peru, and Napo, Ecuador, show a slight rise in snakebite-related hospital admissions during 2023 and 2024, correlating with localized deforestation events. In the mist-shrouded cloud forest, where fog blankets the landscape day and night, a silent creature carries on its back a pattern so intricate it looks as though painted by nature itself. This is the ocelot. The ocelot's evolutionary lineage stretches back some 8 million years, when the Lepardus branch diverged from other members of the Felidae family, giving rise to a group of wildcats native to the Americas. Among them, the ocelot is the largest, marked by distinct genetic traits. It has only 36 chromosomes compared to the 38 found in most other feline species. Its body can grow up to 1 meter in length, and its weight ranges from 8 to 18 kilograms, making the ocelot far more formidable than any domestic cat. Its appearance is striking, a golden tan coat marked with dark-edged rosettes swirling across its body like flowing ink. Each individual bears a unique fur pattern as distinct as a fingerprint. That beauty, however, was once a curse. Hundreds of thousands were hunted for their pelts in the 20th century. Though now protected, their fur remains a haunting reminder of a wounded past. In the Andean cloud forests, between 1,100 and 2,800 meters in elevation, the ocelot finds its ideal home. Cool temperatures, high humidity, and thick canopy cover support a rich diversity of prey and provide perfect concealment. The ocelot is a versatile predator, hunting both on the ground and in the trees. It moves without a sound, each paw step as light as wind brushing moss. Though it walks slowly, every movement is purposeful. Its ears stand alert, swiveling toward the faintest sound, a twig snapping, a whisper of movement close to the forest floor. In darkness, its eyes are perfectly adapted to low light, catching every ghostly shift in motion. But it doesn't rely on vision alone. Its keen sense of smell, more developed than in many other felines, lets it track the fresh scent trails left by prey. Its agile climbing lets it move with ease through the forest's three-dimensional terrain. When needed, it can scale into the canopy to stalk birds or slip down to the streambed to hunt fish, crabs, or frogs, swimming with skill, a rare trait among wild cats. In a world where every corner teems with life, the ocelot is a master of adaptation. It knows when to climb, when to swim, and how long to wait in total stillness before striking. Each ocelot lives alone, defending a territory of up to 46 square kilometers, marked with scent maps made of urine and scat. Any intrusion may lead to a fight for survival. Reproduction also reflects long-term investment. Gestation lasts between 79 and 85 days, and the young, usually just 1 or 2, stay with their mother for nearly 2 years. During that time, they learn everything from her: how to stalk, climb, swim, evade threats, and recognize territorial boundaries. This stage is crucial in shaping their instincts and preparing them to thrive on their own. Within the Andean cloud forest ecosystem, the ocelot plays a vital role. It helps regulate populations of rodents, small birds, and amphibians, maintaining balance and preventing population surges. Its presence also signals the health of the environment. Where ocelots roam, primary forest still thrives, with enough space, biodiversity, and silence to support solitary life. Deep within the forest, where plants droop under the weight of mist, the Ceja de Selva suddenly flares to life with a burst of vivid orange. Amid the grey-green moss that blankets the steep cliffs, the Andean cock of the rock appears like a living ember. radiant, defiant, unmistakable. In this damp, hushed realm where most life chooses to remain hidden, this bird chooses instead to perform. Each morning, before the fog lifts, sharp whistles, clicks, and wing beats echo from rocky ledges near the streams, signaling the start of a wild beauty contest. At a gathering site known as a lek, where multiple males come together at the same time, the courtship spectacle begins. Flaming orange plumage, glossy black wings, and a distinctive fan-shaped crest. Each male bows, spins, hops, and emits a strange chorus of sounds. Every movement is rhythmic and repeated, not just for show, but to assert dominance. From a distance, the muted brown females quietly observe, evaluating each performer before selecting the most compelling male to mate with. And yet, the male's role ends there. Everything that follows, nest building, egg incubation, chick rearing, is handled entirely by the female. Once hatched, the chicks remain dependent on their mother for nearly 6 weeks. They grow slowly, mirroring a biological rhythm tuned to the low light and stable temperatures of altitudes between 1,200 and 2,400 meters. Their diet consists mainly of wild fruits, supplemented with insects, and occasionally small prey like frogs or lizards. This dietary variety not only provides essential nutrients, but also accelerates the development of sensory and spatial skills crucial for navigating the dense forest layers. Beyond its flamboyant courtship rituals, the Andean cock of the rock plays a key ecological role in the cloud forest. As a primary fruit eater, it disperses seeds through its droppings, especially around leks and along travel routes between nests and fruiting trees. These seeds fall into forest gaps where sunlight breaks through the canopy, triggering new growth and aiding forest regeneration. But the cloud forest isn't the richest part of the Andes just yet. Go lower still, and you'll reach the borderland between snow-capped mountains and tropical rainforest. Just below the eastern foothills of the Andes, where elevations drop below 1,500 meters, begins a lush, humid forest zone known as Selva Alta, the pre-Amazon rainforest. This region stretches across Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia, forming the transitional belt where the Andes meet the Amazon basin. Unlike the higher elevations above, the climate here becomes distinctly tropical, with average temperatures ranging from 20 to 28 degrees Celsius year-round and annual rainfall exceeding 3,000 millimeters. The rainy season lasts from October to April, and humidity remains above 85%, creating a thick, moisture-laden environment under a dense canopy. However, to the Inca, Selva Alta was never an easy place to access. It served as a strategic frontier, a region the Inca entered to gather resources, acquire valuable goods like rubber and medicinal plants, and establish trade networks with indigenous lowland groups. Numerous Inca outposts have been discovered in the Urubamba and Vilcabamba valleys, which once controlled the vital routes between the Highlands and the Amazon. After the Spanish conquest of Cusco in 1533, the last Inca retreated into Selva Alta, where they founded the Kingdom of Vilcabamba, which lasted until 1572. In Selva Alta, the landscape is no less vibrant than in the Ceja de Selva. Among the misty treetops, a sharp, piercing call slices through the air, like the first touch of sound on silence. It's the unmistakable voice of the white-throated toucan, a bird whose exotic appearance is defined by its oversized, tropical instrument-like bill and dazzling coloration. Beneath the dense canopy of Selva alta, where the white-throated toucan sings above, a far quieter creature has wandered for millions of years. It doesn't call out. It doesn't dazzle with bright colors. It doesn't rely on speed or aggression. Yet its steady presence has become essential to the biological rhythm of the entire forest, the South American tapir. At first glance, the South American tapir may be misunderstood. Its slow movements and hefty build suggest clumsiness, but the reality is far different. Its most distinctive feature is its short, flexible trunk, a fusion of the upper lip and nose. This multi-purpose appendage helps it reach fruit hanging overhead, pull tender leaves into its mouth, feel its way through dense undergrowth, and even rise above the water's surface for air when diving to escape danger in deep rivers. This trunk connects the tapir to the three-dimensional structure of the rainforest, part arm, part snorkel, part survival antenna. But the tapir's most vital role lies in its feeding habits. As one of the largest fruit eaters in the Amazon region, it digests and disperses seeds from over 200 different plant species. These seeds, partially digested, pass through the tapir's system and are scattered through its droppings across vast distances. According to a 2024 report by the Wildlife Conservation Society, forests with active tapir populations show tree germination rates over 23% higher than areas where tapirs are absent. They don't just plant trees, they help restore degraded forest and preserve biodiversity structure over time. The South American tapir is semi-aquatic, and water is its greatest ally. The creeks, mud pools, and rivers of Selva alta are not only sources of moisture and food, they're also sanctuaries from predators. When it senses danger, the tapir bolts into the water by instinct, swimming and diving with remarkable grace. So silently and smoothly, it seems to vanish into the current. But in South America, even the top predator is a master of water. The jaguar is the largest wildcat in the Americas and the third largest in the world, behind only the tiger and the lion. Its lineage traces back to ancient ancestors that migrated from Asia to the Americas via the Bering Land Bridge around 2 to 3 million years ago. Since then, it has evolved into a near-mythical predator, perfectly tuned for the forests and wetlands of South America. Today, jaguars range from central Mexico all the way down to northern Argentina. But the tropical forests of the eastern Andes, especially Selva alta, stretching through Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, and Colombia, host the densest populations thanks to their remoteness and relatively intact ecosystems. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, the global adult jaguar population is estimated at around 64,000 individuals. But fewer than half live in fully connected habitat corridors. Jaguars are solitary animals, coming together only for mating or raising young. Males command vast territories, ranging from 25 to 85 square kilometers, depending on prey availability and local population density. Though they don't migrate seasonally, jaguars often travel along riverbanks and ancient footpaths, many of which were once part of the Inca road system. These corridors now serve both as territorial boundaries and nightly hunting routes for the rainforest's silent sovereign. In Selva alta, the air hangs heavy with mist, thick with the scent of wet earth and decaying leaves. At the edge of a waterhole, where towering kapok trees send roots down into the muck, a soft rustle is heard, then disappears, as if it never happened. In the darkness, a solid black form hugs the forest floor, moving like a shadow fused with the uneven terrain and fallen canopy. The jaguar, nearly 2 meters long and weighing close to 100 kilograms, presses its body against the damp ground. Each step is a careful calculation, balancing weight and silence. Its muscular shoulders shift with precision, golden eyes locked on a juvenile South American tapir foraging under a tree, unaware that death is already swimming through the air around it. The jaguar doesn't lunge. It waits, patient as the hammer of the gods, suspended in anticipation of fate. Then, in a single breath, it strikes. No long chase like a cheetah. Its strength is launched from the shoulders and forelegs, flinging its mass forward like a missile. One leap, no second chance. The forepaws clamp onto the tapir's shoulders. The jaguar's heavy frame drives into its spine, forcing the prey to collapse in a splash of soil and silence. Then comes the signature move, the bite. That massive head clamps down just behind the skull. With a bite force of up to 2,000 newtons, the jaguar pierces bone and severs consciousness instantly. No need for choking, no waiting game, just one skull-puncturing bite, guided by millions of years of evolution, enough to end a creature twice its size. Beyond its powerful build and predatory skills, the jaguar is also a living embodiment of natural beauty, expressed through its distinctive rosette-patterned coat. These large rosettes, scattered across its body and marked with dark central spots, set it apart from the leopard, a species it's often mistaken for. Each jaguar carries a unique set of markings, like a fingerprint, which allows researchers to identify individuals through camera trap imagery. The black-coated form, known as the black panther, is not a separate species, but rather a melanistic jaguar carrying a specific pigmentation gene. Although they make up less than 10% of the wild population, these individuals hold a distinct advantage. Their dark coats offer exceptional camouflage in the shadowy, densely forested world of Selva Alta. In the grand cosmic worldview of the Inca, the jaguar was far more than a predator. It was the living embodiment of divine power walking the earth. Known as Otorongo in the Quechua language, the jaguar ruled over Caipacha, the present world where humans live, struggle, and strive. Its rippling muscles, lethal bite, and silent, breath-like stride made it the ultimate symbol for Inca warriors, those who believed that the blood of the jaguar ran through the veins of the chosen. In ancient stone temples, this great feline was carved with sacred eyes that stared directly into the soul of the mortal, a reminder that the jaguar did not merely survive, it guarded the sacred balance laid down by the gods. While the jaguar instills fear on the forest floor through sheer force high above, where light fractures into broken rays filtering through the canopy, the Margay glides like a shadow. It needs no brute strength or thunderous pounce. It is an artist of silence, a ghost that climbs, retreats, and vanishes into the trees as if it was never there. While many other wildcats have evolved to live on the ground, the Margay has taken a completely different path, spending nearly its entire life in the trees. Its climbing ability is so remarkable that scientists often compare it to a squirrel, except with sharper claws. One of the most fascinating biological features of the Margay is its unique ankle joint, which can rotate 180 degrees, allowing it to descend tree trunks head first. The Margay's body is built for vertical living, compact frame, long hind legs, wide paws for gripping bark, and a tail that makes up about 70% of its body length, acting like a natural counterbalance. Thanks to these features, it can leap with ease and precision across branches spaced 4 to 5 meters apart. Living in the forest canopy helps the Margay avoid many ground-level threats, but it doesn't free it from competition in the food chain. What sets the Margay apart is not just how it moves, but how it thinks when hunting. In one observation from the Amazon rainforest in Brazil, scientists recorded a Margay mimicking the call of a baby tamarin monkey to draw the attention of adult monkeys. Although the ambush didn't succeed, this vocal mimicry was seen as a rare display of learning and behavioral adaptability for a small predator. Visually, the Margay has eyes that are large in proportion to its body. These eyes are specially adapted for excellent night vision, an essential trait for a solitary, nocturnal hunter moving through low-light environments. Special layers of retinal cells help gather as much light as possible, enabling the Margay to detect prey like squirrels, opossums, night birds, lizards, or large insects from a distance, even while navigating the thick shadows of the Selva Alta rainforest. Although the Margay does not migrate seasonally, it roams over a wide area. Each individual establishes its own territory and generally avoids contact with others, coming together only at specific times of the year to mate. A single territory can cover anywhere from 11 to 30 square kilometers, depending on forest density and food availability. Maintaining a continuous, dense habitat is essential for the Margay's survival, helping it avoid direct competition with other meat-eaters like the tera or the ocelot. Following the fluid, graceful movement of the Margay through the tangled branches, the atmosphere of the Selva Alta forest seems to suddenly stand still. High above, in the hazy canopy, a massive dark shape glides through, silent, leaving no trace. The harpy eagle has arrived, like a mythical figure dwelling in the forest. It patrols its territory in eerie silence, embodying the quiet authority of a true ruler of the skies. Widely recognized as one of the largest and most powerful birds of prey in the world, the harpy eagle is a rare creature that combines unmatched strength with exceptional adaptability in the uppermost layers of tropical forests. Its lineage can be traced back to the Accipitridae family, which first appeared around 40 million years ago. Over millions of years of evolution, the harpy eagle has refined every biological detail to become a true canopy-level hunter, an apex design in the aerial predator lineage. The Selva Alta region, with elevations ranging from 500 to 1,500 meters, multi-tiered forest structure, over 3,000 millimeters of annual rainfall, and humidity levels consistently above 85%, serves as a vital habitat for the harpy eagle. Here, it finds not only nesting sites, but also a rich supply of prey such as howler monkeys, sloths, and other arboreal mammals, key components of its diet. What makes the harpy eagle especially striking in the world of raptors is its massive talons, particularly the rear claw, which can grow up to 13 centimeters long, comparable to the claws of a full-grown grizzly bear. Its grip force can reach up to 2,220 newtons, enough to crush the bones of an adult monkey or crack a prey animal's skull in a single squeeze. This is the most powerful biological weapon among birds of prey and cements the harpy eagle's position as the undisputed top-tier hunter in the rainforest ecosystem. Beyond its strength, the harpy eagle is known for its extraordinary flight agility within the tight confines of the forest canopy, supported by a wingspan that stretches between 2 and 2.2 meters. Despite its large size, it can reach speeds of up to 80 kilometers per hour when diving toward prey. Thanks to its relatively short wings and powerful torso muscles, the harpy can glide close to the treetops, maneuver through dense foliage, and execute incredibly precise strikes. In terms of range, the harpy eagle is found from southern Mexico through Central America, extending as far south as northern Argentina and southern Brazil. However, the latest studies indicate that the species has become locally extinct in several countries, including El Salvador, and now occupies less than 20% of its historical range. In places like Peru, Bolivia, and Colombia, home to the Selva Alta region, populations remain locally stable, but face intense pressure from deforestation, nest destruction, and illegal hunting. In the upper canopy of the Cerrado forests, it's not just insects that rush back to life. Creatures with showy appearances also embark on their own survival journeys. Among them is the toco toucan, a bird of striking beauty with fiery orange tones and a bold contrast of black and white feathers, like a vivid living painting. As the largest toucan species in South America, the toco toucan carries with it a strange and wonderfully inventive biological design. Its bill, which can reach up to 19 centimeters in length, may look like a burden, but it's surprisingly light. Made of spongy keratin tissue supported by a hollow bone structure, the bill plays a key role in regulating body temperature, a process known in science as thermoregulation. When temperatures rise during the seasonal transition, blood flow to the bill increases to release heat. Conversely, when night falls, the blood is redirected to retain warmth. This is one of the most efficient cooling systems ever recorded in birds, comparable to the heat-dispersing ability of an African elephant's ears. The arrival of the rainy season also signals the start of the breeding season. Fruit becomes abundant, followed by a surge in insect populations, an essential nutritional boost for the toco toucan during its nesting period. Its diet isn't limited to guava or fig. During this time, it readily hunts insects, small lizards, and even eggs and baby birds. This protein-rich food is crucial for nourishing the eggs and supporting the growth of the young in the nest. The toco toucan does not build its own nest. It typically takes over old tree cavities, especially former woodpecker nests or natural hollows formed over time. The eggs, white in color and usually numbering between 2 and 4, are incubated in turns by both parents for about 2 weeks. When they hatch, the chicks are bare, without feathers, and their iconic beak is still tiny and undeveloped. But day by day, they grow under the devoted care of their parents, gradually cloaked in thick feathers and developing that vibrant orange beak, like a little sunrise blooming in the heart of the Cerrado. With a total length ranging from 55 to 65 centimeters, the toco toucan is not a long-distance migratory bird. However, when food becomes scarce or certain areas dry out, it tends to move within a limited range in search of richer vegetation. This type of movement, known as ecological nomadism, allows the bird to make the most of short-term resources without having to leave the Cerrado ecosystem. From a distance, the toco toucan looks like a living exclamation mark against the backdrop of a rejuvenating landscape. Its tree-dwelling lifestyle and tendency to live in pairs or small groups help it avoid predators, but also make it highly dependent on a habitat that consistently provides suitable forest canopy. Beyond its role as a skillful fruit eater, the toco toucan is also a vital link in the Cerrado's recovery chain after the dry season. By eating and dispersing seeds, it helps young trees take root in new areas. These birds can boost the carbon storage capacity of tropical forests by as much as 38%, by carrying seeds to degraded regions, supporting the natural regeneration of forest ecosystems. While many bird species begin their breeding season, a burst of insect life emerges, as if ready to play starring roles in the grand drama of survival. It's also the moment when a strange predator steps onto the stage, the giant anteater, a creature that looks as if it wandered out of a prehistoric era. Slow-moving, solitary, yet perfectly adapted to the ever-changing world around it. Measuring 1.8 to 2.1 meters in length and weighing around 40 to 50 kilograms, this is one of the largest ant-eating mammals in the world. What makes it remarkable isn't sharp teeth or fierce claws, but a tongue that can stretch up to 60 centimeters, flicking out up to 150 times per minute, coated with glue-like saliva to scoop up around 140 insects in a single feeding. It doesn't rely on stomach acid for digestion. Instead, it makes use of the formic acid from its prey, swallowing soil and sand to help grind the insects down, much like birds do with grit. Its hit-and-retreat strategy allows termite mounds to recover, ensuring a long-term food supply, an intelligent hunting behavior that helps maintain ecological balance. The giant anteater isn't just slow and steady. When needed, it can sprint up to 48 kilometers per hour, rear up on its hind legs, and deliver powerful swipes with the long, curved claw on its middle toe for defense. Its distinctive way of walking, on its knuckles, helps protect those claws, while its large, bushy tail drapes behind like a thick blanket. Though it has poor eyesight and hearing, its sense of smell is about 40 times stronger than a human's, allowing it to detect insect nests from a distance. This species lives alone, pairing only during the mating season. The young ride on their mother's back for nearly a year, camouflaged by fur that blends in perfectly with hers, making them harder to spot. As a specialist predator of ants and termites, two groups that make up a significant part of dryland ecosystems, the giant anteater acts like an ecological caretaker, helping maintain the soil layer, control pest populations, and prevent invasive termite species from overwhelming young plant roots. It moves quietly through each rainy season, holding a vital, irreplaceable role in the ecological symphony of the Cerrado. In places where termite mounds are torn open by anteaters or where flocks of colorful birds return to the canopy to build their nests, another large creature chooses a quieter path for survival. That is the boa constrictor, one of the great snakes of the Cerrado, non-venomous, yet equipped with a hunting strategy that is remarkably efficient and calculated. The boa constrictor is one of the most ancient reptile species, having evolved and adapted over millions of years. The oldest known members of the Boidae family date back to the late Cretaceous period, showing that the ancestors of this species once lived alongside dinosaurs. Modern individuals typically measure between 3 to 4 meters in length, with some females exceeding 4.2 meters and weighing up to 27 kilograms. Its glossy scales, marked with patterns of brown, burgundy, and silvery gray, stretch along its body like a natural camouflage map. Designed perfectly to blend into the moist forest canopy or the dry grasses of tropical plains. One distinctive feature is its vertical, cat-like pupils, a trait common in nocturnal species, and the small pits between its lip scales. Specialized heat-sensing organs that allow the boa constrictor to see the body heat of its prey, even in complete darkness. As night falls over the Cerrado and rodents begin to emerge from their nests in search of food, the snake lies motionless, like a piece of rotting wood amid fallen leaves, silently waiting. Its strategy isn't to chase, but to ambush. Once it locks onto its prey, often rodents, opossums, small birds, or even large lizards, It strikes with surprising speed. Hundreds of sharp, curved teeth, angled inward, latch onto the prey, followed by the powerful tightening of its muscular coils. The victim doesn't pass due to broken bones, but rather from suffocation and blood loss, as circulation is cut off. A 2024 study from the University of São Paulo found that the pressure exerted by a boa constrictor can reach up to 90 millimeters of mercury, nearly equal to human blood pressure, but is sustained until the prey is completely still. After swallowing its prey whole, sometimes twice the size of its own head, the boa constrictor retreats into a leaf nest or rock crevice to digest. Its slow metabolism allows it to survive for weeks, even months, without needing another meal. This makes it a highly strategic hunter, one that doesn't disrupt its habitat, taking only what it needs to survive. The range of the boa constrictor stretches from northern Mexico to Argentina, but within the Cerrado, it plays a key role in regulating rodent populations. Its presence indirectly helps protect crops from pests and rodent-borne diseases. From an ecological perspective, it is a crucial link in the mid-level food chain. To the west of the Andes, the arid Atacama region stretches from Peru through Chile to Argentina and is considered one of the driest places on Earth. With an average annual rainfall of less than 50 millimeters per year, and some areas going without rain for several years, its climate is shaped by the cold Humboldt current and atmospheric temperature inversions that block moisture from passing through pressure barriers. Daytime temperatures can be hot, nighttime temperatures drop sharply, and humidity levels are nearly zero. The landscape here consists of bare, rocky slopes, salt-crusted soil, thin fog, and very little vegetation. The Inca did not establish permanent settlements, but they set up trade outposts, controlled rare water sources, and maintained influence through commerce, rituals, and intermarriage. This is a dry yet strategically vital frontier, linking the Andes to the Pacific Ocean, where adaptability and mastery over scarce resources formed the foundation of survival. Not as loud as larger carnivores, yet not entirely reclusive like smaller creatures, the South American gray fox survives through sheer adaptability. Despite its name, the South American gray fox is not a true fox in the strict taxonomic sense, just like the Andean fox. Instead, it's a classic example of convergent evolution, where unrelated species evolve similar traits due to facing similar environmental pressures. Fossil records and genetic analysis suggest that this species may have branched off from other members of the Canidae family around 1.5 million years ago, during a period when South America's climate and ecosystems began shifting dramatically after the continent reconnected with North America via the Isthmus of Panama. Today, the South American gray fox ranges from central Chile through the dry western regions of Argentina, reaching as far south as Tierra del Fuego. In the Atacama, particularly along its eastern edge, where arid terrain meets sparse shrubland, it continues to maintain a stable presence. Its body is lightweight and compact, averaging between 2.5 and 4.2 kilograms in weight, and measuring 65 to 110 centimeters in length, with its tail making up nearly 1/3 of that total. With this build, it can move swiftly through rocky ground and low shrubs, terrain that can be too difficult for many other predators. Its keen eyes work well in low light conditions, supporting its crepuscular and nocturnal habits, times when temperatures drop and prey begins to emerge. One of the keys to the South American gray fox's survival is its highly flexible diet. As an opportunistic omnivore, it can eat just about anything remotely edible. In the Atacama, its main diet includes small rodents that live in rock crevices, desert insects, low-lying bird eggs, and occasionally small reptiles like lizards. During the driest months, it turns to berries and carrion, making use of any leftover protein from kills made by larger predators. This dietary variety plays a critical role in its survival, especially in an environment where food availability shifts drastically with the seasons. Although a predator, the South American gray fox doesn't rely on strength to catch prey, it uses strategy. It often moves slowly and quietly, staying low among the grass or loose rocks before springing forward with a lightning-fast pounce when just a few meters away. In more open areas, it may follow scent trails to locate carcasses, directly competing with scavenging birds like the Andean Condor or even large rodents such as the vizcacha, which, under the right conditions, may become prey themselves. While it doesn't migrate in the traditional sense, some populations of the gray fox tend to shift their range seasonally, moving to higher ground in the summer and returning to lower, water-rich areas in the winter, creating a remarkably flexible ecological movement pattern. But aridity doesn't only give rise to creatures clad in muted tones. With its distinct yellow legs, the Andean flamingo stands out easily among large mixed flocks of other flamingo species. That striking color isn't just a matter of appearance. It's linked to carotenoid pigments derived from its specialized diet, rich in microalgae and diatoms found in high salinity lakes. The primary range of the Andean flamingo includes salt lakes at elevations from 3,000 to over 4,500 meters, stretching from southern Peru and Bolivia to northern Chile and northwestern Argentina. In the Atacama region, areas such as Salar de Atacama, Laguna Chaxa, and Laguna Miscanti have recorded the highest breeding season concentrations of the species. However, according to the 2024 update of the IUCN Red List, the total number of mature individuals is estimated at only 38,000 to 40,000, with a steadily declining trend due to the impacts of climate change, groundwater extraction, and lithium mining in salt flats. Despite its elegant and delicate appearance, the Andean flamingo possesses a physiology that is remarkably specialized. It can survive in lakes with salinity levels several times higher than seawater, where alkalinity is so extreme it could burn the skin of most other animals. Even more incredibly, some populations have been found thriving in volcanic crater lakes containing arsenic levels above 300 micrograms per liter, hundreds of times higher than the World Health Organization's safe drinking water standard for humans. This flamingo's survival strategy doesn't depend on speed or agility, but rather on refined physiological traits and beak design. The beak of the Andean flamingo is short, deep, and curves downward, perfectly adapted for filtering out microscopic organisms, especially diatoms. Its filtering system works like an ultrafine sieve, separating microalgae from salty mud through side-to-side head movements, drawing water in with its tongue and expelling it through internal lamellae, fine structured filter plates inside the beak. This feeding mechanism is highly efficient, allowing the Andean flamingo to exploit food sources unavailable to other flamingos with longer, differently shaped beaks. This gives it a competitive edge in the biologically limited alkaline lake environments. Though it spends most of its time around fixed, high-altitude lakes, the Andean flamingo does exhibit cyclical, condition-based migration. In dry years, or when lakes dry up, it may travel hundreds of kilometers south to lower-altitude lakes in Argentina, such as Mar Chiquita, or return to more stable basins in Bolivia. GPS tracking data from the Flamingo Conservation Group has recorded individual movements of 700 to 1,000 kilometers within just a few weeks. An impressive level of mobility for a species often viewed as slow-moving. More than just a high-value endemic species, The Andean flamingo plays a crucial ecological role in the salt lake ecosystems of the Andes. By consuming algae, it helps regulate microbial populations and prevent harmful algal blooms. At the same time, its waste contributes to the remineralization of lake water, creating conditions that support bacteria and invertebrates, organisms vital to sustaining life in these closed basin ecosystems. However, these benefits are increasingly at risk due to the rapid expansion of lithium mining, a growing industry that extracts millions of liters of groundwater daily to produce raw materials for clean energy batteries. But behind that splendor lies another story, a story of melting ice. The glaciers of the Andes, once natural reservoirs supplying fresh water to millions, are retreating at an alarming rate. In Chile, rivers like the Aconcagua and Maipo have seen their flow decrease by 60% and 40% respectively over just the past 40 years. Data from 2025 shows that Andean glaciers are losing an average of 0.7 meters in thickness each year, 35% faster than the global average. If current emission scenarios continue, the Andes could lose up to 58% of their total ice volume by the end of the century. This transformation affects not only water resources, but also the ecological fabric of high-altitude regions. Many plant species have begun climbing the mountains, migrating upward in search of cooler conditions. Species confined to summit zones, like some endemic amphibians, are now cornered at the edge of their biological range with nowhere else to go. In Páramo regions, high-altitude wetlands that act as ecological sponges by filtering water and regulating climate, up to 50% of their area could disappear within the next 50 years. This threatens not only biodiversity, but also the millions of people who rely on the water these ecosystems manage. The Andes are not just a mountain range, they are a place where land, climate, and life are woven together into a vast biological tapestry. A place where nature's creativity, over millions of years, has shaped some of the most diverse ecosystems on Earth. And now, this very place is beginning to show the first cracks of a planet in transition. Amid the cold highlands, mist-covered cloud forests, and the ice-capped peaks of the Andes, conservation efforts are steadily advancing. Along the Páramo and cloud forest regions, millions of polylepis trees have been replanted. Between 2018 and 2025 alone, more than 12 million trees have greened nearly 5,000 hectares of highland forest, while an additional 11,250 hectares of natural woodland have been protected. In Peru, nearly 465,000 native trees have been restored, improving soil moisture and creating favorable conditions for endemic species to return. In Ecuador, the Rio Negro Sopladora Reserve has recently expanded to nearly twice its original size, safeguarding over 136 bird species, 43 mammal species, and hundreds of high-altitude plant species. Meanwhile, in Argentina, degraded landscapes are witnessing the return of the jaguar, pampas deer, and anteater, thanks to well-organized rewilding programs. Technology is also playing a central role in these rugged mountain landscapes. Camera traps, artificial intelligence, and DNA analysis are being used to monitor the elusive Andean mountain cat, one of the rarest feline species on the planet. Local communities are being trained to become habitat stewards right on their own land. Many farmers in Ecuador have transitioned from traditional agriculture to conservation-based practices, protecting species like the long-wattled umbrella bird while still earning income through ecotourism. Across the Andes, new zones such as cloud corridors and climate refugia are gradually being established to adapt to climate change. In the face of environmental shifts, these numbers are not just statistics, They are clear signs of a conservation path rooted in restoration, connection, and collaboration. Amid climate change and global biodiversity decline, what's happening in the Andes reminds us that nature must be protected not only by organizations, but through every small action taken by communities. Conservation is not just about planting trees or saving a species, it's about transforming how we live, how we consume, and how we value nature as an inseparable part of our lives. Every sustainable choice, every mindful step contributes to safeguarding these fragile highland ecosystems, so life can continue resilient and enduring for generations to come. And if you've ever explored the Andes, trekked to Machu Picchu to learn about ancient Inca civilization, don't hesitate to share your knowledge and experience in the comments below. Your story can inspire and energize the collective effort to protect rare wildlife and preserve ecosystems for the future. Be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to join us on more extraordinary journeys to come. Or keep following the survival journeys of wildlife in other regions at Great Smoky Mountains, top predators, and majestic wilderness or wild Okavango, the survival struggles in Africa's last paradise.